What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another review video. Big shout out goes out to Qronge for reaching out to me and asking me to review one of their electric bikes. This is the Meteors model. And just for size comparison, this is what I look like on this bike. Pretty nice and comfortable. I like where the handlebars are. As far as the suspension goes, it's a pretty generic front fork, but it does have lockout. Of course, we're going to test that when we do our off-road test. In this review, I'm going to go over everything there is to know about this electric bike. I'm going to talk about the specs. We'll do a speed test, a brake test, and I'm going to ride around and talk about the riding experience. There will be chapters down below, so feel free to skip around to whatever part is of interest to you. But first, let's get started with the specs. So what we got here is the Qronge Meteors electric bike. It features a 1000-watt peak power hub motor in the rear, coupled with a 36 volts 12.8 amp hour battery. Qronge claims that this should give you a range between 40 and 70 miles depending on riding mode and riding conditions, of course. We have 26-inch by 1.95-inch tires, coupled with mechanical brakes with 160mm rotors. This bike also has a front suspension fork with lockout, a Shimano 7-speed with the Shimano derailleur, an adjustable mountain bike seat, and a fairly large rear rack. In the front of the bike we have a headlight that's decently bright, and in the rear we have a taillight with an active brake light and turn signals. The total weight of this bike is 56 pounds with a max load capacity of 350 pounds. And up on the handlebars we have our rear brake, our thumb throttle, our Shimano gear changer, and the bell. And on the left side we have our front brake, our display with the on-off switch and mode selectors, and turn signals. And that is pretty much it for the specs. Now, as far as the price, this model currently goes for $649, but I will have a discount code for you guys where you can save $50 off your order if you're interested in this bike. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is this bike comes with so many accessories, probably the most accessories I've ever had come with a bike. So it does have that rear rack, which I installed, but other than that, it comes with a front rack, it comes with a bike lock, rear view mirrors, bottle holder, all kinds of other stuff. I'll put a list on the screen so you guys can see what it comes with. That is pretty nice. But with all that being said, let's hop on this thing. I'll show you the starting procedure and then we'll do our speed test. Alright, starting procedure, pretty simple on this bike. We just have a power button. Hold that down for a couple seconds and the bike will turn on. We have 5 power modes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, the throttle does not correlate to those power modes, the pedal assist modes. Those are only for the pedals. So even if you're in pedal assist mode 1 and you hit the throttle, you're going to get the max speed of this bike. But with that out of the way, I got my GPS open and the speed reset. Sweet. Let's put that in my pocket and let's test out pedal assist mode 5. I'm using throttle only. Now, this bike is more of a laid back bike, so the takeoff on it or the torque is very gradual. It's going to be relaxed. Let's call it relaxed. And the bike is showing 20.1, so we're definitely at the top speed of this bike. Now, to be honest with you, it does feel a little bit limited, and what I mean by that is I feel like this bike has more power to give. They just limit it, but I'm gonna go for a little bit more and give my GPS enough time to catch up, and we'll see what kind of result we got. Let's see what we got. All right. So my phone is showing that we hit 19.4 GPS verified, and that was our speed test. Now let's go ahead and do our brake test. Now before I start, a couple things. One, these are mechanical brakes and they can be adjusted. You can give them more bite or less bite. I did not touch mine. This is how it came out of the box. Second thing is, these are brand new brakes and they will only get better with time as they bed themselves in. But anyways, let's do our brake test. I will wait till the bike reaches its full speed, which it seems like we have. I'm gonna brake when we hit this cool zone sign. 3, 2, 1. All right. So from that post right there to over here, it's an estimated between 10 and 12 feet or so. But let's run it one more time just so we can get an accurate reading. All right, here we go. Getting up to speed. Bike is at the top speed, braking in 3, 2. If I'm not mistaken, oh, you know what? Is this a shadow line or? If I'm not mistaken, it seems about the same, maybe a foot better or so. And that was our brake test. Now let's talk a little bit about the bike. As I mentioned earlier, this is a very laid back, chill bike. Maybe for some minor commuting, riding around the neighborhood to get snacks, maybe take it to the beach for a boardwalk ride, things like that. This is excellent for. Now it does have cruise control, which I have enabled right now. If you hold down the throttle for, I believe it's about 5 seconds, cruise control gets turned on, and obviously gets canceled as soon as you hit the brakes. As far as the geometry of the bike, it's very nice. These are very big tires, but they are thin, so it feels really cool to carve over here. As far as stability, it's a fairly stable bike. Yeah, fairly stable. The front wheel isn't all over the place, and I like this cruise control feature. Of course, you can turn it off if you don't want to have it. As far as the pedal assist response, if you're using pedals, let's see, starting off this way, half a revolution. So the motor kicks on after half a revolution, which is pretty immediate. But anyways, here we are at this little mini park over here. Now, obviously it's off-road, but it's not the craziest trail in the world. But in my opinion, this is perfect for this bike. Like, this is the most I'll take it on. Parks like this, where there's some off-road section, but it's very smooth over here. To me, this is what this bike is perfect for. Like park riding, light, super light, trail work. There is a little bit of more intense trail over here, and you know what, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. I wonder how the suspension will act over here. Now this is like the next step up. This trail is bumpier, and there's like an hill climb over here. Let's see if we have enough momentum to make it up this hill. Yeah, no problem. It's pretty decent. All right. Did better than I thought, I'll be honest with you. It is bumpy, very bumpy. So this is probably the most extreme trail riding I would do with this bike. But at the same time, it's not really meant for that. It's not claiming that it's meant for that, you know? So I'm kind of asking it to do more than what it's designed to do right now. All right. Definitely did better than I expected. That's for sure. Now I want to show you the seat. As far as the seat goes, it is like medium softness on it. I'm sure it'll break in with time and become softer. Now it is adjustable in height, of course. The handlebars are fixed, so you can't change them, but you can change the seat. As far as power, I mean, this thing lifts up pretty nicely. I mean, like I said earlier, it doesn't have the craziest amount of torque, but it will lift itself up. It's a pretty light bike. Now let's do things I like, things I don't like, and we'll give this bike a rating. Let's start with things I like. I like the overall form factor of this bike, and I like the build. That is very nice. I like this battery, how it's removable and kind of goes into the body and completes the body in one look. That is very nice. I also really like all the accessories that this bike comes with. Honestly, they don't really have to do that. They can easily sell it to you, but it comes with the bike. That is very nice. Now let's do things I don't like, and I always try to find at least one. In this particular situation, it's not that I don't like it, it's more of I wish it had, and I'm talking about the suspension. The fork in the front is there, and it is existent, and it's better than not having anything, and it did handle our little mini off-road section pretty nice, but it's not the best out there. I wish it had better suspension. The second thing is I wish it had rear suspension. Now I understand that this is a style of bike, it's a hardtail, so it's not gonna have that suspension, but just personal, I prefer having that suspension. And the last thing is the speed. I mean, 20 miles an hour is nice for some people, and this is all they really need. Me personally, I like to have more speed. So again, it's not that I don't like, it's more of I wish it had. Now, what score am I giving this bike considering my review, my experience, and the price? Considering everything and all the things that you're getting, all the accessories, I'm going to give this bike a 7 out of 10. Again, considering the price and the discount that you can get if you use my discount code in the description. Make sure to check that out. Now, is this thing good value for money? I honestly think that it is. Again, it's not going to be the fastest bike in the world, but some people don't really need that. And for $650 plus my $50 off, it's a pretty decent value for money. Again, especially for all those accessories you're getting with the bike. Now, I'm pretty sure I was able to go over everything there is to know about this bike, but in case I missed anything, please leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer. If you want to see more of these reviews, and there are plenty more coming, definitely hit that subscribe button. This has been the Qronge Meteors electric bike review. I appreciate you guys watching as always, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.